Have you ever had a day where you just didn't feel like doing anything, but because you'd built a streak, you did it anyway? You didn't want to, you didn't feel it, but something deeper than motivation carried you forward. It's momentum, and it wins every time. Welcome back to 360 Success Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Ryan Knight, and today we're talking about momentum is greater than motivation. Why motivation burns bright then fades. But momentum, once it's rolling, it literally resists stopping. Let's start here. Motivation is really just emotional fuel. It's that spark, that I'm ready to change my life energy you feel on Monday morning or right after watching an inspiring video or, Braveheart or whatever. It's the jolt that gets you to start something new. Go to the gym, open the laptop, make the call. But what happens 2 days later when you're tired, stressed, and life shows up? Motivation burns out every single time because motivation is emotional and emotions fluctuate. Let's be real. If I relied on motivation alone to record these episodes, we'd have maybe 4 of them, not, about to record our 50th episode. The truth is, motivation is a spark, not a strategy. It's great for ignition, but it's terrible for maintenance. Now, momentum, that's different. Momentum is mechanical. Think of a train. It takes an insane amount of energy to get a massive train moving. There's so much weight. But once it's rolling, you could cut the fuel and it'll keep going for miles. That's the power of momentum. Once it's moving, it resists stopping. Momentum doesn't care if you feel like it. Momentum just moves. It's built through repetition, through small, consistent actions that stack on top of each other. The reps that we talk about. It's not sexy, it's not cinematic, but it's what changes everything. Because once momentum exists, effort drops and progress compounds. You don't have to put in as much effort necessarily to keep going, but your progress and your results will compound over and over again. If you can maintain the same level of effort you started with, then you keep building higher and faster momentum, and it will keep compounding, and then it doesn't take near as much effort to maintain. Now let's talk about something I live by, the 2-day rule. The rule is simple. Never skip it twice. Never skip twice. Everyone has off days. You get sick, you have bad moods, you'll miss a workout or break the routine. That's fine. Skip one day. Take a rest day, a recovery day, whatever. Life happens, but never let it become 2 days. Because 2 becomes 3, and 3 becomes I'll start next Monday or I'll restart next Monday. And that's where momentum dies. I've experienced it before. I've experienced it, I could get sick or injured or something like that. And so I know you're questioning, you're like, well, what do I do? Momentum doesn't care if you were perfect yesterday. It only cares if you showed up today. So if you want to stay consistent, forget perfection. The real game is the streak. Never skip twice. That's how momentum lives on. And so back to what I was saying a minute ago, what do I do if I'm hurt or whatever? Maintain the habit by doing something. Let's say you don't feel well. Maybe I don't feel well one day. My shoulder's hurting, I can't lift weights, or my hips hurting or something like that. If I can't do everything that I normally do, doesn't mean I can't do something that I normally do. Maybe, I've got a weird issue with my hips. So maybe that day I can't walk with my weighted vest. Maybe I just walk. Maybe I just walk on my treadmill for 10 minutes instead of 30 minutes. Whatever it is, maintain some momentum and maintain the habit, those small habits. Keep them going. Now let's uncover why micro habits matter so much. Micro habits are small enough to succeed even on bad days. They're the reason that people who journal 1 line a day end up publishing books. The reason 5 push-ups can turn into 50 push-ups. Every time you complete a micro habit, you cast a vote. You cast a vote for the kind of person you believe that you are. You're telling your brain, I keep promises to myself. And you know what happens when you believe that? You stop relying on hype. You start building self-trust. And that trust fuels confidence. And confidence fuels consistency. And then it becomes a chain. My consistency builds my confidence. My confidence builds my consistency. And that's why people that get in that mode, it's hard to stop because they start to feed off that momentum. So micro habit leads to confidence. Confidence leads to consistency. Consistency leads to momentum. And momentum can become addictive, but that's the formula. And that's how people go from fragile motivation to unstoppable momentum. Let's make it real. Think back to the last time that you built momentum in something. Maybe it was a fitness streak, a morning routine. You were writing something every day, journaling. At first, it took effort, maybe even discipline, but eventually it flipped. You didn't like missing it. You felt off if for some reason you didn't show up. That's the turning point. Momentum becomes the path of least resistance. Motivation gets you out of bed. Momentum keeps you there. The trick isn't to chase motivation. The trick is to engineer momentum. You've got to keep doing those consistent micro habits to create momentum. And then you keep stacking the reps, and that keeps building momentum and building momentum. And until it doesn't feel normal if you don't do those things. So the trick is to engineer momentum. And you do that by choosing something small, repeatable, and connected to your identity. You're not just a person trying to work out. You're a person that moves daily. You're not a person trying to write. You're a storyteller who writes something every morning. All right, let's get practical. Because I don't want this to stay in theory. If you joined me last episode, hopefully you've started a 30-minute morning habit, whether that's journaling, exercising, learning, or creating. This week, your challenge isn't to be perfect. It's to track the streak. Make a grid on your phone, on paper, whatever it looks like for you, a workout app. Each day you complete your 30-minute habit, you put an X. Your only rule, don't break the chain. You'll see something amazing happen. After a few days, the momentum becomes visible, and you won't want to lose it. The streak becomes sacred, if you will. And as a streak grows, motivation stops mattering. You'll catch yourself doing things just to protect the streak. That's momentum, alive and working for you. Now a reality check. Momentum can fade. Life hits hard sometimes. Vacations, I try to work out on vacation to maintain my habits. Illness, maybe you get burnt out, all real, all human things. When that happens, the goal isn't to rebuild everything overnight. It's to restart small to regain momentum. One line in the journal, one paragraph written, one walk, one push-up, one small win at a time. That's how momentum starts. You have to remember that. Not by guilt, but by grace. If you've fallen off in your momentum in some area of your life, give yourself grace. But the key is to start. And start that streak again. Start stacking those reps again until it starts to feel normal, and it feels abnormal if you don't do that. Because our brain craves that routine. It craves what we call normalcy. So that restarting is part of the momentum. A train begins to move again the same way as it started, little by little until it builds up speed. So today, don't chase motivation, engineer momentum. Build systems that make action automatic. Because motivation is a mood. Momentum is a movement. Motivation might start you, but momentum sustains you. When motivation fizzles, momentum carries you. And once it's rolling, baby, it's harder to stop you than to keep going. That's the secret great performers already know. Momentum wins every single time. If today's episode resonated with you, pause for a second and think, where do I need momentum the most right now? Start there. Start small, build the streak. And when you do, tag me, share it, tell someone you recruited your momentum is back. Because that's how this community grows, not just in ideas, but in motion. I'll see you next episode, where we'll keep building on this foundation of habits, systems, and growth. Remember, motivation starts you, momentum sustains you. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you next week.